How many of you have dreams that are bigger than your current reality? How many of you know deep inside that you're capable of more, earning more, achieving more, becoming more? Then why are so many people stuck? Why do 99% of people spend their lives wishing, hoping, and waiting, while only a small percentage create extraordinary results? Today, I'm going to share one success principle that has the power to completely transform your life. It's simple. It's powerful. And yet, 99% of people ignore it every single day. If you truly understand this principle and apply it consistently, your life will never be the same again. Are you ready to unlock your full potential? Let's begin. Introduction: success is not about luck. It's not about talent. And it's definitely not about having the perfect circumstances. Success is about mastering the habits, beliefs, and actions that move you toward your goals every single day. The difference between those who succeed and those who struggle isn't intelligence, it's execution. Today, we're going to uncover the principle that separates achievers from dreamers. This principle has helped entrepreneurs build empires, athletes become champions, and ordinary people create extraordinary lives. Let me ask you a question. What do you really want? Not what your family wants for you, not what society expects from you, not what other people think you should be doing with your life. What do you want? Take a moment and think about that. Because most people spend years, sometimes decades, working hard, staying busy, and chasing opportunities, yet they never stop to answer that one simple question. They know they want more money, more happiness, more success, more freedom. But when you ask them exactly what they want, they struggle to give a clear answer. And that's where the problem begins. You see, success starts with clarity. The more clear you are about what you want, the more power you have to achieve it. Clarity is the foundation of every great achievement. Every successful entrepreneur, athlete, leader, and innovator started with a vision. They knew where they wanted to go. They had a target. Imagine trying to shoot an arrow at a target you can't see. How likely are you to hit it? It's almost impossible. Yet that's exactly how most people live their lives. They wake up every day, work hard, stay busy, and hope things get better. They're aiming at nothing and wondering why they keep missing. The truth is, your mind is like a powerful GPS system. But a GPS cannot help you unless you enter a destination. If you get into your car and tell the GPS, "Take me somewhere successful," it won't know what to do. You must be specific. You must know where you're going. Life works the same way. When you're clear about your goals, your brain begins searching for opportunities, resources, and solutions that can help you achieve them. Suddenly, things that were always around you become visible. Opportunities you once ignored start appearing everywhere. Why? Because your focus changes. Have you ever noticed that when you decide to buy a certain car, you suddenly start seeing that car everywhere? The cars were always there. You just weren't focused on them before. The same thing happens with success. When you become clear about what you want, your mind starts noticing pathways that can help you get there. But clarity requires honesty. You have to be willing to stop settling for vague dreams. Many people say things like, "I want to be successful." What does that mean? I want more money. How much money? I want a better life. What does a better life look like? The more specific you become, the more powerful your goals become. Instead of saying, "I want more money," say, "I want to earn a specific amount each month." Instead of saying, "I want to get fit," define exactly what fitness means to you. Instead of saying, "I want a better future," describe what that future looks like in detail. What kind of work are you doing? Where are you living? Who are you spending your time with? How do you feel when you wake up every morning? The clearer the picture, the stronger the vision. And here's something most people never realize. Clarity creates confidence. Uncertainty creates fear. Confusion creates hesitation. But clarity creates momentum. When you know exactly where you're going, your decisions become easier. You stop wasting energy on distractions. You stop chasing every opportunity that comes your way. You begin saying no to things that don't align with your vision and yes to things that move you closer to your goals. That's powerful, because one of the biggest reasons people fail is not a lack of ability. It's a lack of focus. They start one thing, then switch to another. They chase one dream, then abandon it for the next shiny opportunity. They spend years moving in circles because they never committed to a clear direction. The most successful people in the world understand something important. Energy flows where focus goes. Whatever you focus on expands. If you focus on problems, you'll see more problems. If you focus on excuses, you'll find more excuses. If you focus on opportunities, growth, and possibilities, your life begins to move in that direction. That's why clarity is so important. Clarity acts like a filter. It helps you separate what matters from what doesn't. It helps you invest your time, energy, and attention into things that truly move your life forward. And remember this, you don't have to have every detail figured out. Many people wait because they're afraid they don't have the perfect plan. They think they need to know every step before they start. That's not true. You only need enough clarity to take the next step. As you move forward, you'll learn, you'll grow, you'll adjust. Your vision may evolve. That's normal. What matters is that you have a direction, a clear target, a compelling reason, a vision that excites you enough to keep going when life gets difficult. Because challenges will come, obstacles will appear, there will be moments when you doubt yourself. But when your vision is clear, you have something to hold on to. You have a reason to keep pushing forward. So today, I challenge you to get clear. Don't settle for vague wishes. Don't settle for average goals. Decide exactly what you want from your life. Write it down, see it in your mind, feel it in your heart. Cultivate a vision so clear and so powerful that it pulls you forward every single day. Because the moment you gain clarity, everything begins to change. Your focus changes, your actions change, your decisions change, and ultimately, your life changes. Success begins the moment you stop wandering and start aiming. Get clear on what you want, and you'll unlock a level of power, confidence, and purpose that most people never experience. That is where extraordinary achievement begins. Now that you know what you want, the next question is this: what are you doing about it? Because having a dream is not enough. Having a vision is not enough. Having a goal written on a piece of paper is not enough. The world is full of people with great ideas. The world is full of people with incredible potential. The world is full of people who know exactly what they should do, yet their lives never change. Why? Because knowledge without action produces nothing. You can read every book on success. You can watch every motivational video, you can attend every seminar, you can create the perfect plan. But if you never take action, nothing changes. Absolutely nothing. The difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is not that successful people know more. Often, it's that they act more. They move while others hesitate. They start while others wait. They learn while others overthink. And that's what creates results. You see, most people have been conditioned to wait for the perfect moment. They tell themselves, I'll start when I have more money. I'll start when I have more experience. I'll start when I feel confident. I'll start when everything is ready. But here's the truth. The perfect moment never arrives. There will always be another excuse. There will always be another reason to wait. There will always be another obstacle standing in front of you. If you keep waiting for perfect conditions, you'll spend your entire life waiting. Success belongs to people who take action despite uncertainty. Think about it. Every successful entrepreneur started before they felt ready. Every great athlete began before they were confident. Every leader took action before they had all the answers. They didn't wait until fear disappeared. They acted in spite of fear. And that's an important distinction. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is taking action while fear is present. Many people think successful individuals are fearless. That's not true. They experience doubt. They experience uncertainty. They experience anxiety. The difference is that they refuse to let those emotions control their decisions. They understand that action is the cure for fear. The longer you wait, the bigger your fears become. The longer you procrastinate, the harder the task appears. But the moment you take action, something incredible happens. Your confidence begins to grow. Because confidence doesn't come before action, confidence comes from action. Most people have that process backwards. They think confidence leads to action. In reality, action creates confidence. Every time you take a step forward, you prove something to yourself. You prove that you're capable. You prove that you're stronger than your excuses. You prove that you're willing to do what others won't do. And that builds self-belief. One small action may seem insignificant, but never underestimate the power of a single step. A giant tree begins as a tiny seed. A successful business begins with one decision. A healthy body begins with one workout. A meaningful career begins with one opportunity. A transformed life begins with one action. The problem is that most people underestimate what small actions can accomplish over time. They want immediate results. They want overnight success. They want everything to happen quickly, and when it doesn't, they become discouraged. But success doesn't work that way. Success is built one action at a time, one decision at a time, one day at a time. The people who achieve extraordinary results understand that consistency beats intensity. Anyone can be motivated for a day. Anyone can work hard for a week. But can you keep showing up when nobody is watching? Can you keep moving forward when progress feels slow? Can you keep taking action when results haven't appeared yet? That's where greatness is created, because every action compounds, just like money grows through compound interest. Your efforts grow through consistent action. The workout you do today matters. The book you read today matters. The skill you practice today matters. The conversation you have today matters. The choices you make today shape the person you become tomorrow. Every action is a vote for the future you want. And here's another truth. You don't have to know every step before you begin. Many people become trapped by overthinking. They want certainty. They want guarantees. They want to know exactly how everything will work out. Life doesn't work that way. When you drive at night, your headlights only allow you to see a short distance ahead, yet you can still complete the entire journey. Why? Because each mile reveals the next mile. The same thing happens in life. Action creates clarity. The answers you need often appear after you start moving, not before. Many opportunities are invisible until you take the first step. Many solutions reveal themselves only after you encounter the problem. Many breakthroughs happen because someone was willing to begin before they felt ready. So stop demanding certainty from the future. Focus on taking the next step. Just the next step. Then take another. Then another. Momentum is one of the most powerful forces in the world. Once you begin moving, it becomes easier to keep moving. Once you begin building positive habits, they become easier to maintain. Once you begin creating results, your belief grows stronger. And belief fuels even more action. This creates a cycle of growth and success. But remember this, action doesn't mean you'll never fail. You will make mistakes. You will experience setbacks. You will face disappointment. You will have moments when things don't go according to plan. That's part of the process. Failure is not evidence that you should stop. Failure is evidence that you're trying. Failure is evidence that you're learning. Failure is evidence that you're growing. The only people who never fail are the people who never attempt anything meaningful. Every successful person you admire has failed more times than you can imagine. What separates them is that they kept moving. They kept learning, they kept adjusting, they kept taking action, and eventually their persistence paid off. So today, make a decision. Stop waiting, stop overthinking, stop searching for perfect conditions, stop letting fear make your choices. Take action, even if it's small, even if it's imperfect, even if you're uncertain. Because one step forward is always better than standing still. Your dreams will never become reality through wishing. Your goals will never be achieved through thinking alone. Your future is built through action, not tomorrow, not next week, not someday. Today, right now. Because every extraordinary life is the result of ordinary actions repeated consistently over time. The people who win are not always the smartest. They are not always the most talented. They are not always the most fortunate. They are simply the people who refuse to stop taking action. And if you can develop that habit, if you can commit to moving forward no matter what, you will unlock a level of success that most people only dream about. The path is already in front of you. Take the first step. Let me tell you something that holds millions of people back from achieving the life they truly want. It's not a lack of talent. It's not a lack of intelligence. It's not a lack of opportunity. It's the obsession with perfection. So many people spend their lives waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect skill level, the perfect conditions, and the perfect outcome. They tell themselves that they will start when everything is ready. They believe they need to have all the answers before they take the first step. And because of that belief, they never begin. Think about how many dreams have died because someone was waiting for perfection. How many businesses were never started? How many books were never written? How many goals were never pursued? How many opportunities were missed? Not because people lacked ability, but because they were afraid of making mistakes. The truth is that perfection is an illusion. Nobody starts perfect. Nobody performs perfectly. Nobody achieves greatness without making mistakes. Every master was once a beginner. Every expert was once inexperienced. Every successful person you admire started with flaws, weaknesses, and uncertainty. Yet they moved forward anyway. They understood something that most people fail to understand. Progress is far more important than perfection. Progress creates momentum. Progress creates learning. Progress creates growth. Perfection creates hesitation. Perfection creates fear. Perfection creates paralysis. Imagine a person standing at the bottom of a mountain. They look at the peak and become overwhelmed by how far away it seems. Instead of taking the first step, they spend months planning the perfect route. They study every possible path. They worry about every possible obstacle. They analyze every possible mistake. Meanwhile, another person simply starts climbing. They don't know everything. They aren't perfectly prepared. They don't have every answer. But they move forward. Who reaches the summit first? The person who acted, because action creates progress, and progress creates results. Many people underestimate the power of small improvements. They want dramatic transformations. They want instant success. They want massive breakthroughs overnight. But real success is rarely dramatic. Real success is usually invisible at first. It happens through small daily improvements repeated consistently over time. A single workout may not transform your body. A single page may not complete a book. A single sales call may not build a business. A single day of effort may not change your life. But when those actions are repeated day after day, week after week, month after month, the results become extraordinary. That's the power of progress. Small improvements may seem insignificant in the moment, but over time they create remarkable outcomes. Think about a plane leaving an airport. If its direction changes by only a few degrees, the difference at the beginning is almost impossible to notice. But after hundreds or thousands of miles, that tiny adjustment leads to an entirely different destination. Life works the same way. Small improvements in your habits, mindset, discipline, and actions may not seem important today, but over time, they can completely transform your future. This is why focusing on perfection is dangerous. When people chase perfection, they often become discouraged by their imperfections. They focus on what they haven't accomplished. They focus on how far they still have to go. They focus on every mistake they make. As a result, they lose motivation. They stop moving. They quit. But successful people focus differently. They focus on improvement. They ask themselves, am I better than I was yesterday? Did I learn something valuable today? Did I take a step forward? Did I grow? Because growth is the goal, not perfection growth. And growth requires mistakes. Let me say that again. Growth requires mistakes. You cannot improve without making mistakes. You cannot learn without making mistakes. You cannot become stronger without making mistakes. Mistakes are not signs of failure. Mistakes are signs of progress. Every mistake teaches you something. Every setback provides feedback. Every challenge reveals an opportunity to become better. The problem is that many people take mistakes personally. They believe that making a mistake means they are not good enough. They believe failure defines them. But failure is not your identity. Failure is an event. Failure is information. Failure is part of the learning process. The most successful people in the world have made countless mistakes. Entrepreneurs have launched products that failed. Athletes have lost important competitions. Leaders have made poor decisions. Inventors have created thousands of unsuccessful prototypes. Yet they continued moving forward because they understood that perfection was never the goal. Improvement was the goal. Imagine if a child learning to walk decided to quit after falling down. Imagine if they said, I fell once, so I must not be meant to walk. That sounds ridiculous, yet adults do something very similar. They attempt something difficult. They make a mistake. They experience disappointment. And then they convince themselves that they are incapable. But success doesn't work that way. Success belongs to people who are willing to keep learning. People who are willing to keep improving. People who are willing to keep progressing even when the journey is difficult. Another reason progress matters more than perfection is because progress builds confidence. Every small win matters. Every completed task matters. Every improvement matters. When you see yourself making progress, your belief grows. You begin to trust yourself. You begin to recognize your capabilities. You begin to realize that you're becoming stronger, smarter, and more skilled. Confidence is not created by perfection. Confidence is created by evidence. And every step forward provides evidence that you're capable of achieving more. That's why celebrating progress is so important. Many people achieve something meaningful and immediately focus on what they haven't done yet. They ignore how far they've come. They ignore their growth. They ignore their achievements. As a result, they never feel satisfied. Take time to acknowledge your progress, recognize your improvements, appreciate the lessons you've learned. Honor the effort you've invested, not because you're finished, but because every step forward deserves recognition. Remember, life is not about becoming perfect. Life is about becoming better, better than yesterday, better than last month, better than last year. The goal is continuous growth, continuous learning, continuous improvement. Because when you commit yourself to progress, something incredible happens. You stop fearing mistakes. You stop worrying about perfection. You stop comparing yourself to everyone else. Instead, you focus on becoming the best version of yourself. One step at a time, one lesson at a time, one improvement at a time. And eventually, those small improvements create extraordinary results. The people who achieve greatness are not perfect. They simply refuse to stop progressing. So stop waiting for perfection. Stop demanding flawless results from yourself. Stop letting fear of mistakes hold you back. Take the next step, learn the lesson, make the adjustment. Keep moving forward, because perfection is a myth, but progress is real. And if you commit to consistent progress every single day, you will accomplish far more than people who spend their entire lives waiting to be perfect. Progress is what transforms dreams into reality. Progress is what builds confidence. Progress is what creates success. And progress begins the moment you decide that being better is more important than being perfect. Have you ever noticed how two people can face the exact same situation and produce completely different results? One person sees an opportunity and moves forward with confidence. The other sees obstacles and immediately gives up. One person believes they can learn, grow, and overcome challenges. The other believes they're not talented enough, smart enough, or capable enough. What creates the difference? It's not the situation, it's not the resources. It's not even the level of talent. The difference is belief. The beliefs you hold about yourself shape the actions you take, the decisions you make, and ultimately the life you create. Whether you realize it or not, every day you are having conversations with yourself. You are constantly telling yourself stories about who you are, what you're capable of, and what is possible for your future. Those stories become beliefs, and those beliefs become your reality. If you believe you can achieve something, you'll look for ways to make it happen. If you believe you can't achieve something, you'll find reasons why it won't work. Your mind is incredibly powerful. It works like a filter. It searches for evidence that supports whatever you already believe. If you believe you're capable, your mind finds opportunities. If you believe you're limited, your mind finds obstacles. That's why changing your beliefs can completely transform your life. The challenge is that many of the beliefs holding people back were never consciously chosen. Most limiting beliefs were formed years ago, sometimes during childhood, sometimes through failure, sometimes through criticism, sometimes through rejection, sometimes through painful experiences. Maybe someone told you that you weren't smart enough. Maybe someone laughed at your dream. Maybe you tried something and failed. Maybe you faced disappointment and began questioning yourself. Over time, those experiences created stories in your mind. Stories such as, I'm not good enough, I'm not talented enough, I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm not confident, I'm not a leader, I'm not successful, I could never do that. The problem is that after repeating these stories long enough, they begin to feel like facts. But they're not facts, they're beliefs. And beliefs can be changed. Think about that for a moment. Many of the limitations you accept today may simply be stories you've repeated so many times that you've mistaken them for truth. A belief is not necessarily reality. A belief is simply something you've decided to accept as true. And if a belief can be learned, it can also be unlearned. The most successful people in the world understand this principle. They don't allow limiting beliefs to control their future. Instead, they challenge those beliefs, they question them, they replace them with empowering beliefs that support growth and achievement. Whenever a limiting belief appears, they ask a different question. Instead of saying, I can't do this, they ask, how can I do this? Instead of saying, this is impossible, they ask, what would make this possible? Instead of saying, I don't have what it takes, they ask, what skills do I need to develop? Notice the difference. The first type of thinking shuts down possibility. The second type opens the door to growth. Questions are powerful because they direct your focus. The quality of your life is often determined by the quality of the questions you ask yourself. When you ask empowering questions, your mind begins searching for empowering answers. This shifts your perspective. And when your perspective changes, your actions change. Many people spend years waiting to feel confident before they pursue their goals. But confidence doesn't magically appear. Confidence is built through action and experience. You don't become confident before taking action. You become confident because you took action. Think about every skill you've ever learned. At one point, you were inexperienced. At one point, you struggled. At one point, you made mistakes. Yet through repetition and practice, you improved. The same process applies to every area of life. No one is born with complete confidence. Confidence is developed. Success is developed. Leadership is developed. Discipline is developed. Everything can be learned. When you truly understand that, your entire mindset changes. You stop labeling yourself. You stop saying, "This is just who I am." Instead, you begin asking, "Who can I become?" That question has incredible power, because your future is not determined by who you are today. Your future is determined by who you're willing to become. Growth begins when you stop viewing your abilities as fixed. Too many people believe their talents are permanent. They think intelligence is fixed. They think success is reserved for certain people. They think extraordinary achievement belongs to someone else. But history proves otherwise. Countless successful people started with disadvantages. They faced rejection, they faced failure, they faced criticism, they faced obstacles that seemed impossible. Yet they refused to let those circumstances define them. They chose empowering beliefs over limiting ones. They chose possibility over doubt. They chose growth over fear. And because of that decision, they transformed their lives. Another important truth is this: your environment influences your beliefs. The people you spend time with affect the stories you tell yourself. If you're constantly surrounded by negativity, doubt, and excuses, those attitudes can become part of your thinking. If you're constantly surrounded by growth, ambition, and possibility, those attitudes begin influencing your mindset as well. That's why it's important to protect your mind. Be careful about what you listen to. Be careful about what you consume. Be careful about the voices you allow into your life. Because every message you repeatedly hear has the potential to become a belief. And every belief has the potential to influence your destiny. You must become the guardian of your own mindset. Challenge negative thoughts. Challenge limiting assumptions. Challenge beliefs that no longer serve you. Don't automatically accept every thought that enters your mind as truth. Examine it, question it, test it. Ask yourself, is this belief helping me grow? Is this belief moving me closer to my goals? Is this belief empowering me or limiting me? If a belief is limiting you, replace it. Choose a stronger belief. Choose a belief that supports your vision. Choose a belief that encourages action. Choose a belief that inspires growth. Because what you believe about yourself matters. Your beliefs influence your expectations. Your expectations influence your actions. Your actions influence your results. And your results shape your future. That's why changing your beliefs can change your life. Not overnight, not instantly, but consistently. One thought at a time, one decision at a time, one new belief at a time. The moment you stop asking, "Can I?" and start asking, "How can I?" everything begins to shift. Possibilities appear where obstacles once existed. Solutions appear where problems once dominated your thinking. Opportunities appear where limitations once stood. And most importantly, you begin to see yourself differently. You begin to recognize your potential. You begin to understand your capability. You begin to realize that many of the walls holding you back were never real walls at all. They were beliefs, and beliefs can be changed. So from this day forward, refuse to let limiting beliefs control your future. Challenge them, but them. Rise above them, because the greatest limitations in life are rarely external. They are often the limitations we place upon ourselves. The moment you change what you believe is possible, you change what becomes possible. And that is where true transformation begins. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever felt incredibly motivated on a Monday morning, ready to change your life, only to find that by Wednesday your excitement had disappeared? Have you ever watched an inspiring video, read a powerful book, attended a seminar, or listened to a motivational speech and felt unstoppable, only to return to your old habits a few days later? If so, you're not alone. Most people spend their lives chasing motivation. They wait until they feel inspired. They wait until they feel energized. They wait until they feel excited. And when those feelings disappear, they stop taking action. The problem is that motivation is unreliable. Motivation comes and goes. Some days you'll wake up feeling strong, focused, and determined. Other days you'll feel tired, distracted, and uncertain. That's part of being human. No one feels motivated every single day. Not athletes, not entrepreneurs, not leaders, not high achievers. Nobody. The difference is that successful people don't depend on motivation to achieve their goals. They depend on discipline. And that distinction changes everything. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is behavioral. Motivation says, I'll do it when I feel like it. Discipline says, I'll do it because it's important. Motivation waits for the right mood. Discipline creates results regardless of mood. Motivation is temporary. Discipline is sustainable. If your success depends on feeling motivated, your progress will always be inconsistent. You'll work hard when you're excited and quit when things become difficult. You'll move forward when conditions are favorable and stop when challenges appear. But if your success depends on discipline, you'll continue moving forward no matter how you feel. And that's where extraordinary results are created. Think about the most successful people in any field. Do you believe they wake up every morning feeling excited to do difficult work? Of course not. There are days when they feel tired. Days when they feel discouraged. Days when they don't feel like showing up, yet they show up anyway. Why? Because discipline has become part of their identity. They understand that success is not built on occasional effort. Success is built on consistent effort. Anyone can perform well when they feel inspired. The true test of character happens when inspiration disappears. Can you still do the work? Can you still keep your promises to yourself? Can you still move forward when nobody is cheering for you? That's what discipline is all about. Discipline is keeping your commitment long after the emotion that inspired the commitment has faded. That's a powerful skill because life will test you. There will be days when things don't go according to plan. There will be days when obstacles appear. There will be days when progress feels slow. There will be days when giving up seems easier than continuing. Those are the moments that separate dreamers from achievers. Dreamers rely on feelings. Achievers rely on discipline. Many people misunderstand discipline. They think discipline means punishment. They think discipline means suffering. They think discipline means forcing yourself to live a miserable life. But true discipline is actually a form of freedom. Think about it. A person who lacks discipline is controlled by impulses. They eat whatever they crave. They procrastinate whenever work becomes difficult. They spend money without thinking. They avoid challenges. They choose comfort over growth. At first, that may seem enjoyable, but eventually, those choices create limitations, poor health, financial stress, missed opportunities, unfulfilled potential, regret. Discipline works differently. Discipline may require temporary discomfort, but it creates long-term freedom. The discipline to exercise creates physical freedom. The discipline to learn creates intellectual freedom. The discipline to save money creates financial freedom. The discipline to work on your goals creates future opportunities. In other words, discipline allows you to create the life you truly want instead of being controlled by temporary emotions and impulses. One of the biggest lies people tell themselves is, I'll start when I feel ready. But readiness is often created through action. The feeling comes after the behavior, not before. Professional athletes don't train only when they feel like it. Successful business owners don't work only when they're inspired. Great performers don't practice only when they're motivated. They follow systems, they follow routines, they follow habits because they understand something important. Success is rarely the result of one massive effort. Success is usually the result of small disciplines practiced consistently over time. The workout you almost skipped matters. The book chapter you almost didn't read matters. The task you wanted to postpone matters. The promise you keep to yourself matters. Every disciplined action strengthens your character. Every disciplined decision builds trust in yourself, and self-trust is one of the most valuable assets you can develop. Why? Because every time you break a promise to yourself, your confidence weakens. You begin to doubt your ability to follow through. But every time you honor your commitment, even when it's difficult, your confidence grows. You begin to see yourself differently. You begin to recognize that you can depend on yourself. That confidence becomes a source of strength. Another powerful aspect of discipline is that it reduces decision fatigue. When successful habits become automatic, you no longer waste energy debating whether or not you should do them. You simply do them. You don't negotiate with yourself. You don't argue with your goals. You don't search for excuses. You act. And over time, those disciplined actions become part of your identity. You stop saying, I want to be disciplined, and start saying, I am disciplined. That's a major shift. Because lasting change occurs when behavior becomes identity. When discipline becomes who you are, consistency becomes easier. You no longer depend on motivation. You no longer depend on perfect circumstances. You become someone who follows through. Someone who keeps moving. Someone who stays committed even when it's difficult, especially when it's difficult. Remember, discipline is not about being perfect. There will be days when you make mistakes. There will be days when you fall short. There will be days when your performance isn't ideal. That's normal. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is consistency. When you stumble, get back up. When you make a mistake, learn from it. When you miss a day, don't miss two. Keep moving forward, because discipline isn't built in a single moment. It's built through repetition, through practice, through daily choices, through thousands of small decisions made over time. Every disciplined action is like placing a brick. One brick may not seem significant, but if you place enough bricks consistently, eventually you build something extraordinary, a strong body, a successful business, a meaningful career, a fulfilling life. It all begins with daily discipline. So stop waiting for motivation. Stop waiting for the perfect mood. Stop waiting for inspiration to magically appear.